Hi everyone, myself Praveena. I am the Assistant Professor of Mathematics in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering College. Today our topic is, I'll discuss with the functions of several variables. I'll discuss with the functions of several variables. In that method is Jacobian. Okay. Here, what about the form of the Jacobian? Here, let u is equal to u of xy and v is equal to v of xy are two functions of the independent variables x and y. Okay, once observe here the topic is functions of the several variables. Once observe there, here in u function there two variables are there. In the v function two variables are there. That means here u are v are the functions are two functions with independent variables of x and y. Then the Jacobian of u comma v with respect to xy is given by, with respect to xy is given by j of uv by xy is equal to dou of uv by dou of xy is equal to det of ux, uy, vx, vy. This is the formula for the Jacobian of the two variables, that is determinant of ux, uy, next row vx, vy. I'll write it as that dou u by dou x and dou u by dou y and dou v by dou x and dou v by dou y. This is equal to that. That is determinant of the dou u by dou x, dou u by dou y, dou v by dou x and dou v by dou y. That means you differentiate with respect to x and again you differentiate with respect to y. That is the first row. Next row, we differentiate with respect to x and we differentiate with respect to y. That is the second row for the Jacobian of the two variables. And here one note is there. Here you have to take, let us take the above formula. J is equal to, above formula means what? Dou of uv by dou of xy. If you are assuming that j as dou of uv by dou of xy, then that reciprocal of j is equal to, that is j dash. That reciprocal, j reciprocal is j dash, that is dou of xy by dou of uv, dou of xy by dou of uv. That means that is equal to what? Okay, then from that one of the important property, then j into j dash is equal to 1. Once observe the first formula there, j is equal to dou of uv by dou of xy. That means what? U is differentiate with respect to xy and v is differentiate with respect to xy. Similarly, what about j dash there? Dou of xy by dou of uv. That means how we are writing that formula for that? That is dou of x by dou of x by dou u and dou of x by dou v. Okay, once observe here, u is differentiate with respect to xy, that is the first row, and v is differentiate with respect to y, that is the second row. For finding j dash, for the j dash formula, here x is differentiate with respect to what? uv. And now the second row here, y is differentiate with respect to u and y is differentiate with respect to v. This is the j dash formula. And for that, from that note is j into j dash is equal to 1. That means after multiplying the two, all cancel, then directly we get that is equal to 1. Therefore, one of the property from that, j into j dash is equal to 1. Okay, this is for two variables in the Jacobian. Similarly, if you are taken three variables in u function, v function and w function, same as the last formula here, j of uvw by dou of xyz is equal to dou of uvw by dou of xyz. That means what? Their formula, det of ux, uy, uz, vx, vy, vz and wx, wy, wz. That means what? Here u differentiate with respect to x, u differentiate with respect to y and u differentiate with respect to z. And similarly, v differentiate with respect to x, v differentiate with respect to y, and v differentiate with respect to z. Next, w differentiate with respect to x, and w differentiate with respect to y, and w differentiate with respect to z. This is the formula for the three variables for the Jacobian. UVW differentiate with respect to x, y, z. Okay, this is the formula for J. And next, similarly, what about J dash? What about J dash for that? Okay, for the three variables, J dash is equal to what? Sorry, here J dash is equal to reciprocal of the J. Okay, reciprocal of the J. That means here for the three variables, J dash is equal to dou of xyz by dou of UVW. Dou of UVW. That is equal to here dou x by dou u, dou x by dou v, and dou x by dou u, dou x by dou v, and dou x by dou w. Next, dou y by dou u, dou y by dou v, and dou y by dou w. Next, dou z by dou u, dou z by dou v, and dou z by dou w. This is the formula for the J dash for the three variables. After multiplying with the J and J dash, again this is equal to what? 1. Okay, this is the property for the three variables and two variables. Okay, now I'll discuss with the two variables and two variables related questions with Jacobian. Okay, now the first question, once observe here, if x plus y square is equal to u and y plus z square is equal to v, comma z plus x square is equal to w. Find dou of xyz by dou of UVW. Once observe the given functions UVW in terms of how many variables? Three variables. Okay, here in that u function, what is missing there? Z is missing. In that v function, x is missing. In the w, y is missing. Then find dou of xyz by dou of UVW value. Okay, from that, let us take the three functions UVW. For that, what is the formula for that? Dou of UVW by dou of xyz is equal to det of ux, uy, uz, vx, vy, vz, wx, wy, wz. Here, what is ux? What is ux means? Ux means differentiate u with respect to x. What is u? X plus y square. The differentiation is what? 1. And similarly, uy. U is differentiated with respect to y. That is equal to what? That is 2y. And next, what about uz? Uz is equal to dou u by dou z. The differentiation is directly 0. There is no z term in the given function u. Therefore, the differentiation with respect to u with respect to z as 0. And next, similarly, this is the first row for the formula, that is ux is equal to 1 and vx is equal, uy is equal to 2y and uz is equal to 0. Now I'll find vx, vy, vz. Okay, that is dou v by vx means what? V differentiate with respect to x. What is the function of the v? Y plus z square. This is the function. Is there any x term in the v function? No. Then directly that is 0. Next, v differentiation with respect to y, that is vy. Then differentiate with respect to y, that means this is 1. And next, similarly, v differentiate with respect to z, then we call as that vz. That is equal to what? Here z, y plus z square. The differentiation is 2z. Okay, these are vx, vy and vz. Okay, once observe the formula, now I am substituting there vx, vy, vz. Then that is 0, vx value 0 and vy value is 1 and vz value is 2z. Okay, similarly find wx, wy and wz. That is wx is equal to dou w by 2x. Okay, what about the function here? W is equal to z plus x square. The differentiation with respect to x as 2x. Respect to x as 2x. And wy, that is dou w by dou y. Y differentiation, w differentiation with respect to y. There is no z variable in the function. Then directly that value is 0. Next, wz. Okay, that is dou w by dou z. That is equal to 1. Okay, therefore wx is equal to x, wy is equal to 0 and wz is equal to 1. Now write it on the formula. There wx is 2x, wy is 0 and wz as 1. Okay, after substituting that all values in the formula, and now it will same as the 3 by 3 matrix. Okay, then for that find determinant of 3 by 3. Okay, determinant of 3 by 3. Then, okay, for that find out the determinant, that is 1. Starts from 1, neglecting that corresponding column and row, and that cross multiplication for the remaining part, that is 1 into 1, 1 minus 0 minus 2y into first row second element, neglecting that corresponding column and row, and 0 into 1 0 minus 2x into dz, that is 4xz, plus 0, neglecting the corresponding column and row, and the 0 into 0 minus 1 into 2x, that is completely 0. Then 1 into 1 minus 0, that is 1, minus 2y into minus 4xz, that is 1 plus, okay, minus into minus plus, that is 8xyz. Therefore, dou of uvw by dou of xyz value is equal to 1 plus 8xyz. This is dou of xyz by dou of uvw value. For the same question, sometimes if they are asking j dash, okay, dou of xyz by, okay, wait ma. Here, what about the given question xyz with respect to uvw? For that, first I'll finding, okay, reciprocal of that. That means dou of uvw by dou of xyz value. But what about they are asking in the question dou of xyz by dou of uvw? But I'm finding the value of dou of uvw by dou of xyz. Dou of uvw by dou of xyz. If you know why I am taking this value here, once observe the functions uvw in terms of xyz, uvw in terms of xyz, but here the question is xyz in terms of uvw. Okay, for that first I am finding, okay, uvw by dou of xyz value. Okay, that means uvw I am differentiating with respect to xyz directly. That value is 1 plus 8xyz. Okay, if you know the dou of uvw by dou of xyz value, then that reciprocal is what? That is 1 by dou of uvw by dou of xyz, that is equal to dou of xyz by dou of uvw. Then after getting the dou of uvw by dou of xyz, now substitute there, that is 1 by 1 plus 8xyz. Therefore, the given question dou of xyz by dou of uvw value 1 by 1 plus 8xyz. Sometimes they are asking dou of, directly they are asking dou of uvw by dou of xyz. For that case, okay, this is the answer. That is 1 plus 8xyz. Once observe here the functions. Here the functions u in terms of xyz. Okay, u in terms of xyz. But the given question, what they are asking the question, x is in terms of uvw. Okay, it is difficult procedure for that. For that, first I am solving uvw directly with respect to xyz. After that I am taking the reciprocal of that. Directly we get the answer for dou of xyz by dou of UVW. Okay, therefore, dou of XYZ by dou of UVW value 1 by 1 plus 8XYZ. This is the concept for the first question. Next one. Show that the functions u is equal to x plus y plus z and v is equal to x square plus y square plus z square minus 2xy minus 2yz and minus 2xz, and w is equal to x cube plus y cube plus z cube minus 3xyz are functionally related. Okay, functionally related. Okay, functionally related means if the determinant value is equal to 0, then that functions are functionally related. Okay, for that case, here the functions are u is x plus y plus z and v is x square plus y square plus z square minus 2x minus 2yz minus 2xz, and w is equal to x cube plus y cube plus z cube minus 3xyz. Here functions are related means, okay, once observe the functions UVW are in terms of XYZ. For that, what about the formula? Okay, UVW in terms of XYZ means directly that formula UX, dit of UX, UY, UZ, VX, VY, VZ, WX, WY, WZ. Okay, for that formula, this is the formula. If that value is equal to 0, then the functions are related. Okay, if the values are not equal to 0, then the functions are not related. Then here, once observe ux, uy, uz, vx, vy, vz, wx, wy, wz. After that, differentiating with respect to u, v, w with respect to x, y, z, then ux value. Okay, ux is 1. Uy is 1 and uz is 1. That means what about the first row? U is differentiate with respect to xyz. That is dou u by dou x for the given function. Here what is u? X plus y plus z. Differentiate with respect to x1, with respect to y1, with respect to z is 1. Okay, then this is equal to 1, 1, 1. Similarly, differentiate v with respect to x. That is, what about the function of the v? X square plus y square plus z square minus 2xy minus 2yz minus 2xz. That is 2x. Next, minus 2y minus 2z. Okay, na? That is the first one. And next with respect to y, that is 2y minus 2x minus 2y. Next one, dou v by dou z. We differentiate with respect to z. That is 2z minus 2y minus 2x. This is we differentiate with respect to x, y, z. Then substitute there. That is 2x minus 2y minus 2z. Next one, 2y minus 2x minus 2z. Next 2z minus 2y minus 2x. Similarly, w differentiate with respect to x, y, z. Then w is what is the function? This is the function. Then differentiation of w with respect to x as 3x square minus 3yz. And w differentiate with respect to y, that is 3y square minus 3x minus 3xz. And w differentiate with respect to z, that is 3z square minus 3xy. Okay, then substitute there in the formula. Okay, now I am substituting each and every value in the formula, and after that finding the determinant of that. Here what is the common term from the second row and the third row? I am taking 2 outside, and from the third row I am taking 3 outside. And after that determinant for that 3 by 3. That is for that I am using the column operations. Why I am using column operations? With respect to C1, okay, I'll make it as C2. With respect to C3, I'll make it as first 2 are zeros. For that, C1 tends to C1 minus C2, and next column C2 tends to C2 minus 3t. For that, 0, 0, 1, 2x minus 2y, 2y minus 2z, z minus 5 minus x, and 1 here x square minus y square, z square minus xy, and 0, 0. Okay. With respect to this C3, first column I am subtracting with C3, and similarly C2 also, okay, I'm subtracting with C3. Okay, I'm using C3 with respect to C3. I'll make it as C1 first element as 0 and C2 first element as 0. So from that, here I'll get directly 0, 2x minus 2y, x square minus 5z minus y square plus xz. Here 0, 2y minus 2z, y square minus xz minus z square plus xy, and 1. There is no changes in the third column, that is 1, z minus y minus x and z square minus xy. Okay, now if you are making this first two are zeros, easily we can find the determinant of the value. Okay, then 6 into for the 3 by 3 first column 0, first row first element 0, and second row first element is 0. Now I'll start with that. After the simplification, directly this value is equal to how much? 0. Therefore, that functions are functionally related. Okay, this is the second question answer. And similarly, third one, if x plus 5 plus z is equal to u, comma, y plus z is equal to uv, comma, z is equal to uvw, then evaluate dou of xyz by dou of uvw. Once observe, for any question, first we have to observe what they are asking in the question. Here we have to evaluate xyz values with respect to uvw. Okay, xyz values with respect to uvw. But here, what about the functions u and v and w in terms of xyz? That means first we have to convert each and every function in terms of x in terms of uvw, and y is in terms of uvw, and z is in terms of uvw. After that only you get directly this answer. Okay, now for that, what about the first function? X plus y plus z is equal to u, and y plus z is equal to uv, and z is equal to uvw. Once observe from the last function, z directly in uvw. Now I'll find out y in terms of uvw. For that, what about y here? Y plus z is equal to uv. From that, y is equal to uv minus z. But what about z here? uv minus uvw. From that, I'll take uv outside. This is 1 minus w. Therefore, what about y? Y is equal to uv into 1 minus w. Similarly, x also I'll take it as in terms of uvw. That is, x is equal to u minus y plus z. From that second one, y plus z is equal to what? uv. That means x is equal to u minus uv. That is u into 1 minus v. Once observe, now the functions are in x is in uv w, and y is in uv into 1 minus w, and z is in uv w directly. Okay, now what they are asking the question, x y z in terms of differentiate with respect to uv w. For that, what is the formula? Dou of xyz by dou of uvw is equal to det of xu, xv, xw, yu, yv, yw, zu, zv, zw. Okay, then x differentiation with respect to u. What about the first row in the formula? X differentiation with respect to u. That means u minus uv. X is what? U minus uv. Differentiate with respect to u as 1 minus v. And x differentiation with respect to v, that is minus u. And x differentiation with respect to w, that is 0. This is x differentiation with respect to uv w. And x differentiation with respect, and similarly find y differentiation with respect to u, that is dou y by dou u is equal to, okay, that is, what about the function of y? uv into 1 minus w. With respect to y with respect to u means what? That is v minus vw. And next, y differentiation with respect to v, that is u minus uw. And y differentiation with respect to w, that is minus uv. minus uv. And similarly, z differentiation with respect to u. Z differentiation with respect to u. What about z here? Z is equal to uvw. That means vw. Z differentiation with respect to v, that is uw. Next, z differentiation with respect to w, that is uv. Okay, these are the xyz differentiations with respect to UVW. Now substitute each and every value in the above formula. This is 1 minus V. Okay, that is the first row, 1 minus V minus U 0. And the next one, V into 1 minus W, U into 1 minus W, and minus UW. And the last row, VW, UW, and UV. If we want directly determine the given 3 by 3, or else for the row operations, okay, first with respect to row operations, we'll read it as the matrix. Okay, easily. Okay, if you are using the row operations, okay, for the row operations, we make it as some values are zeros. For that, easily we can find out the determinant values. Or else directly also we can find the determinant for the 3 by 3 matrix, 3 by 3 data. Okay, for that, here I am using the row operation, that is R2 tends to R2 plus R3, and okay, from that, here 1 minus V minus U 0, VU 0, VW, UW, and UV. Therefore, after using the draw operations there, UV into U minus UV plus UV, that is equal to U square V. Okay, this is the determinant of the or Jacobian of dou of XYZ by dou of UVW value. This is the concept for the Jacobian for the 3 variables and the 2 variables. Okay, next class we will discuss with some other concept with the other concepts. Next class we'll discuss with the some other concepts of the lag. Thank you for all.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.